on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yeah. Come on. Come on. Do that. Lead up. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Daddy. Everyone, I'm going to do the first earlies in the tubs. I'm going to tip these out, a bit long overdue to be honest. The tops began to die off and they got a little bit blighted, so I cut the tops off about a week ago. So they've just been sort of sat in the garden because we've had a bit of, weather issues and I've been on with other things. So I lifted them out last night, started chucking it down, so I've had this tarpaulin over them just to stop them getting too waterlogged. So I've raked that flat up there because, as you can see, my leeks need to go in because they're desperate. They'll not come to much, but I'll put them in it anyway. So they'll be going in after. There's a bit of cloud building up over the horizon over there, so I don't know how long I'll have to do this. So I'm just going to time lapse it. I'll empty one, then I'll time lapse the rest of it, and then if it's worthwhile, I've got my tub here with a set of scales. I just need to weigh it. So it weighs £2, so I just need to knock £2 off the final weight. Now the variety is Duke York. I think that it's a mixture of compost and topsoil that's in these. They are quite light, so I think it's quite a bit of compost. I think it was, I can't remember what it's called now, Mora or something like that, or grow more compost or something. It was the cheapest I could find at the time because compost is pretty pricey to be doing this now. Just mulched them with some straw. I think they probably got planted sort of mid-April, I think, so they've had a lot longer. Because I thought instead of doing like the 90 or 100 days, like I usually do, I'll leave them until the tops die down, then they're as ready as they're going to be. Because I don't mind if they're a bit big, because Duke Yorks are great for chips, roasting and stuff like that. So instead of like peeling little spuds, I can save the little spuds for like the boiling, or making potato salads. And the bigger ones I can chip, bake, roast, and I don't particularly use them for mash. They will mash like, but they tend to fall to bits, if you overdo them. But yeah, I like them, to be honest. They're not the highest yielders, so I'm not expecting loads. I mean, I think there's 4 potatoes per pot planted at 2 levels, so obviously you got 2 sort of, a couple of inch up, then you got 2 about the halfway mark. That's to populate, so the idea is so you get the whole pot full. It doesn't always work out that way because sometimes you'll get one that rots off. So you never quite know if all 4 have sprouted, or I've had it before where just one's sprouted, the rest have rotted off. So what we get out of them, I don't know. But like I said, there'll be 36 potatoes here. I've just spotted them as well before walking up. I have some Orla that I put in 1 per 12 litre pot. Now they're only to be grown for seed potatoes. Now the tops have died off on them. They got a little bit blighted, but they've died off. So I might harvest them and just see what the yield is in one of those compared to one of these. And then all the compost I've got out of these, I'm not going to use it all, but instead of storing it all somewhere, I'll put it to use. I've got 5 seed potatoes, some Charlottes left from last year that I've had in the fridge, and then I pulled them out about a month ago to get them sprouting. I'm going to put them in just 1 per 12 litre pot and just have 5 pots. And if I get some late season ones, if they don't get heavily blighted, great if you've got somewhere under cover, because blight don't tend to get them, because the tops don't get wet. Well, unless because blight spores need to be washed in. Some of these might be blighted, the potatoes, I don't know, because there were a few of the tops that had rotted off. So we'll just see how it goes. You always get a few that are rotted out, usually. But yeah, I'm just going to tip them out, put the blighted tops, compost them. A lot of people are against composting blighted things. It only lives on a living material, so once it's composted, it's got nothing to live on. So don't worry about anything that's blighted. Compost it, it's fine, perfectly fine. Especially if it's, if it gets hot. So we'll get one of these tubs, trying to knock my brew over. So I don't know how wet they are at the bottom, but when I pulled them up, they hadn't put any roots through the bottom at all. So either they've not required the water, because I haven't really, I was kind of looking after them in the earlier section of growing, but usually I like to start feeding them in the later part, but just didn't. I just kind of left them to their own thing. So we shall see. We'll get there'll be a crop, and I'll save some of these potatoes for next year. You can put somewhere cool, but if they do start to sprout, just put them in the fridge. You can rub the sprouts off. Don't worry about that. and there's a few spuds at the top here, tinge of green on them. All this is going to go at compost. I'm having to do this on this side of the garden, so Kane's not out, because otherwise I'm in view of the rook, and he'd be absolutely petrified at the sight of these tubs. He's got a real issue with anything new going on. So yeah. Pull these out. But looking all right so far there. I think it's a long time. I think I had 1 year, going back probably 10 years, I had a really good yield in these green grow bags of Duke Yorks. Something like £9 per bag roughly, I think, which is good considering they're a first early. But I mean, these, that's a nice size, especially for a roaster. So here we go, tip them out. See what we get. We're not seeing like loads swelling here, because you tend to, like first earlies, stalk comes down, little clump. Let's just say, yeah, that's in a seed potato. So it's stuff like scab you have to watch out for. Looking quite clean. Just going to throw them in here for now. And then I'll tip them all into the tub after to weigh, but there's some good ones here. I don't mind that at all. I do like it when the soil's a little bit dry to harvest. They are big for a first early, but it's always handy in case there's problems with the ones I've got at the plot. I'm still yet to dig them up. I think there's about 108 plants there to dig up. Pick all the little ones out. It's all part of a harvest, because the little tiny ones you could just use for buzzing a potato salad. I mean, they're like the size of a peanut, I'm not bothered. But there's not loads. But I'm not going to weigh each pot. I'm just going to work the average out per pot. And on average, I think a first ear they can give you about £1.5 to £2 per seed potato. So anything more than that, great. Anything less, it's like I say, I'll time lapse this, and we shall have a look see after. That one's that one's rotted. I'm not going to weigh the rotted ones because they're a fail at the end of the day. It was a case of check again, because there's a valuable bit of grub in here. Right, so the thing is though, I've got to put all this stuff back in the pot because I haven't got much room to work with. That's time consuming, hence why I'm going to time lapse a lot of this. We'll carry on trying to get it in my brew. Right, finally, the last one of the Duke Yorks. So I'm going to do them all out after this. I have got some jazzies, but they've still got a bit of green on top. They are blighted, but they'll be next week's harvest. On some of them I've got a few small ones near the top, but on other ones there's like no small ones. It's a bit, possibly just late sprouters or something. Yeah, that one, you see, it started rotting down the stem there. Oh well, never mind. It's always nice when you see him at the top. I never take for granted that it's like that all the way through. You think like, oh, it's rammed all the way to the top, but it's I do enjoy revealing spuds, tipping the tub out, especially when you're doing main croppers and it's like busting with them. I think the only ones I've had that have really been great has been like Pentland Crowns. Did them years ago, massive yield. We got £13-14 of spuds to one tub. you know, but they're not really very good against blight. So if you get a blight-free year, or you've got somewhere nice and sheltered, Pentland Crown do give a cracking yield. But it's like you grow swift for first early in tubs. They just never yield much, I've found, so I might have a complete change on them. Yeah, last tubs a few that have got that colour, I can tell, dark colour, so I know they're soft. Like that, they're just a bit dry and mealy, I must, but some massive spuds. Yeah, it's like that one. It's a shame, you know, because it's a, you know, you need two or three of them for a bit of a meal. You know, so when you look at like what you have to throw away, providing it's a lot less than what you've got, but it's still, you think like, oh, well, even if they were just seed potatoes, it'd be alright, but, you know, because when you take your seed, I mean, I'll save some like this size for seed potatoes. I mean, yeah, they're ideal first early eaters. They're a good seed potato size. Because I've found sometimes you get seed potatoes, some, you know, 50% of them are quite big. You get some right tiddlers in there. I'm thinking like, well, I know it shouldn't really matter, but I think it does sometimes. You know, something like that is a good sized seed potato. It's got plenty of energy in it. You know, sometimes, especially if it's a first early, it might survive. You know, and I've done it before where I've actually replanted a seed potato and it's sprouted again. And I've got a second run out of one seed potato. Just leave it out the pot for a little bit, you know, so it kind of heals up and it'll start to try and sprout again. Because you've taken its offspring away, it senses like, oh, I need to do it again. You know, as long as they're firm, they will go again. I think it's more the waxy, sort of like the Charlottes that are good for that. You know, yeah. If you get a seed potato and it's still hard and firm, then get another go off it. That's it. Get this cleared up. Get them weighed. I've just stopped my phone still recording. Yep, still recording. That's always a bonus. It's about 40 odd minutes at the moment, but don't worry, I'll have edited it down. Or time-lapsed it. Because it is a bit boring to watch, you know, but sometimes it is that reveal, especially when you tip it out and you get a good one, and then, you know, especially if it's a real buster. Right, so I need to take £2 off. I'll just double check. This is up to it. Last thing I want is this catapulting up into my face when it's full of spuds. Let's have a look. Small fishing scales. I've got some digital ones somewhere. Yep. I've got to just deduct £2 off. I'll try and tip these in. It'll just go horrendously wrong when I'm out, so I'll take some of them out and then I'll tip the rest in. No idea how much there is. But, you know, I don't think it's not going to be like you. It looks good, but when you've got four seed potatoes per pot, that's 36 seed potatoes. And if you've got like £2 per potato, you know, I've not got 72 pound of spuds here. So it looks good, but it's not great. But it's far from terrible. You know, there's enough spuds here to keep a house with food, you know, for probably a good month here, because we eat spuds a lot. Obviously I've got spuds at the flock, providing they're alright. So we had a right heavy downpour last night. I'm hoping it's not washed the mounds off. Right, I think I'm going to go for it and tip these now. Could go horribly wrong. Tiny one there. No idea. Right, that. What do these go up to anyway? They only go up to 30. No, they don't. They go up to £40 these scales. If it bottoms out, I'll have to take some off. Says me, wishful thinking. Yep, it's bottomed out. That's a good sign. It's over 40. Like that. Still over 40. Yeah. I'm only letting it go around once. It's me being an idiot. That's it. Right. I've got a, okay, I can put a load more back in here. I've got quite a bit more to go. Oh, I didn't let it go around twice. I should have got my big scales out really, because I got 200 now. Try that. I'm getting a bit excited then. Right, so that's 20 and it's not even lifted off the ground yet, so that lifted off. That's actually bang on 30 that. There's £30 in there. Like an idiot, I've nothing to tip them into, so they're going up some more here. £28 then, so I've got to take £2 off of that. I'll give myself £10.5 for that. So that's £8.5. So it's 28, 36 and a half pound. So that gives you about £1 of potatoes per seed potato, which is not good. Obviously I've thrown some away, but I got another £10, fine. But it's not a bad yield. First early, so say, if I'd had the same amount of potatoes at that size, it wouldn't have worked out as well. But because I've got, you know, some obviously bigger ones, they've made up for it. So obviously, you know, it's a good yield in that aspect. But I'm saying save quite a few, you know, sort of that size. Keep them somewhere cool, and put them in the fridge if need be. No, not at the bottom where they're going to get nipped by any frost or anything, but keep them cool and then pull them out next year about February time. Let them sprout. Use them for your seed potatoes, or you can buy them. Right, so I'll clear these up and we'll tip the oiler out. As I say, I've got 4 pots. They are a main cropper, but they decided to give up after this short duration. You know, I mean, usually it's been around a long time. But all well, it's disposable. I've never grown them as a first early. They've not had as long as these, you know, because they were a bit of an afterthought. I think these went in before the plot, so we shall have to see. I'll have to get a bucket to lay them other ones in. This is going to be preoccupied. There's loads of little tiny ones here. I'll keep them. funny though, it's like this compost just been exposed for a bit, it's soon dried out. So that proper drying breeze today. Do get my onions out and the garlic, because it's weather like this, you get a couple of weeks like this and practically drying. Oh, right, that's that done. Thank God for that. Right, so I won't get these all. Hear the old jackdaws chirping in the background. Not fed them today yet. I've been told off for it. Right, I'll set my scales up first while it's empty. Bucket, what's this? Set that back to 0. This is light enough. There we go. That's all set to 0. I'm not going to pull the valve, give them a tug. These are just one stinging nettle, and that has just got me through my gloves. One seed potato, 12 litres. I think it was spent topsoil. This is like what I grew some spuds in last year. Bloodfish and bone meal. Might be a bit wet. Yeah, it's got like wood chips at the bottom, so it's got some of my own compost in it. I'll throw it in this bucket for now. It's about the same size as Duke Yorks. It's very dry in the middle. It did dry out a few times because I was surprised, to be honest. I thought I saw it as a seed potato. Yeah, it's got some wood chips. It's like, yeah, it's got some of my own compost in it. I think I just put my own compost at the bottom just to fill the holes, you know, so it wouldn't all fall through. So these are kind of grown in a first early manner. There's just one potato in 12 litres. Obviously, in the better conditions, possibly might be alright, but there's not so much there. But I'm only growing these for seed potatoes, and they're good sized seed potatoes. Smaller ones I'll use up. Just shy of £1.5 off that one. You know, so I'd say it's, you know, it's acceptable. You know, for one kind of first early. But if I was growing it for a main cropper, I'd want more than that. More weeds, they always make an appearance. Smooth this out a bit. Let's pop the top. Yeah, I think these only went in sort of like, I think they were May. I've still got some seed potatoes left in the shed, but they're like shriveled up prunes. Can't get in the shed, it's that much of a mess and rambly stuff at the moment. But I do like all the, you know, I've had some massive spuds from all over the years. Biggest, I think I've had one about £3 2 ounces, something like that, which is a bloody big potato. I don't know why I squeezed that lump there, it was a rotten spud. And that was just in the ground, that was at the plot. For about 2013, 2012, something like that. Probably 2013, 2014, something like that, I think it was. 2 more, and that's the end of spuds, and then get these leeks put in, and then I've got to do a bit of tomato picking. Oh, red things looking at me, and water them. I need to clear them spring greens out really, and put cane out. And then I've got to start, I'm going to have some empty beds, so nothing to put in. But you know, I've got cauliflower and broccoli, I can always shove some of them in if need be. Do a test and see how close I can plant stuff in one of them Vajiga raised beds. And spring onions to pull out of it. I've got an old lily box in the front garden. Yeah, it's quite a big box. So I'm actually going to put rocket and spring onions in that. Because lilies died back now, so I've kind of just chopped them down, laid it on top of some compost. I might as well, instead of having an empty box out there, fluffy compost that cats will just use for a litter tray, I might as well just whack some spring onions and rocket in it. It is south facing, so it gets loads of sun. Last one. I don't think these have got any bigger. They could have got a little bit bigger, but tops, because it will swell even though when the plant's finished, it will carry on swelling a very little bit, but not much. You have to watch it, you see, otherwise they once they stop the growing, they become in that storage phase, and that's when they're susceptible to slug damage and rot. It's like dust, this. Wet in some parts and dry in others. At least it's not got damp rot or anything like that. I'd like my plot to be like when I dig my potatoes up, quite nice and clean. Ah, my wrist. I have to watch that. Oh, there's that. I think that's about your lot for them. Oh. I'm going to have a cup of tea, I think. What have we got? What's that? It's like £4, 12 ounces. It's just over £1 what, £1 3 ounce per pot, roughly. Not great, but it's above a pound. It's not above the £2 mark, but it's above a pound. Pound and a half is like all right, but completely free because they're my own spuds from last year. I had 4 left over. You know, I've still got a load more left over, but I thought, well, I'll just bung them in because they weren't big spuds out like that. I just spotted them and I thought, oh, they've shriveled up things. I thought, you know, stuff it, I'll shove some in. But I mean, there's, I don't know, I'm not going to count them, but you know, it's probably 25 seed potatoes in there. So if you do the multiples on that, so it's cost me nothing to grow these, and it'll cost me nothing to grow something next year from these. So it grows. It's like an investment. You know, you've got to basically take a loss to invest and grow it that way, and then it'll multiply. Unless if you get a big fail and lose all of them, which can happen. But right, cup of tea, clear up, and we'll get on with these leeks. I'm going to pop these leeks in now. So a few things that I'd say, well, I use anyway for this, all the kind of things that are required to do it with. A dibber, which is an old spade handle. I'll just chamfer down to the end, but you can use anything really, you know, a bit of pipe, anything like that. This is just to pre-make the hole that obviously the leek will grow and fill. Cable ties, which I'll explain when we come to it. Some scissors, in case you want to cut your plants down. Some people cut some of the tops down. I'm going to cut some of the roots down. I think I've got a little tub here full of water. A bit of an adapted watering can after a few years now. Just a bit of hose pipe, it just makes filling the holes up easier afterwards. Obviously your pot with leeks in, and the brew is optional, but I find it helps. And patience, because trying to tease these apart can be a bit of a nightmare, especially this size. I mean, I'd like to have got these in about 5 weeks ago, but we'll pop them in, and if we get a crop, we get a crop. So they're pretty robust. I'll have to put my brew somewhere else. It's currently downwind. Just trying to get them. I did water these yesterday actually. I give them a good soak with liquid seaweed. just kind of like a bit of a tonic really, bit like a growth stimulant. As I say, it's massive roots, you've got to try and tease them apart, so just take your time. It's usually a bit easier when they're a little bit drier really, but I thought, well, the sun's alright, you know, and there's not raining yet. Once you start getting into the clump, it's usually okay, but they're usually a little bit smaller than this. It's just a case of teasing. As long as you get the bulk of the roots out, you're alright. I'm going to be chopping the roots down anyway, so you know, you've got a bit of root for each one. I'm just going to keep them in water, because obviously when it's hot like this, they're likely to dry out. And put my thumb in and rip these apart a bit. Makes it a little bit easier to deal with. You just sort of like carefully try and pull them away from the clump. These have started to like bulk up at the bottom a bit, which is not what I want. But they are a good thing to put in after first early potatoes, but obviously try and get them in sort of end of June really, or July at latest. But they'll get something. You know, and they can stand, this variety is Musselburgh, so they can stand pretty well in the cold months. And the roots, I might not trim the roots down to be honest, they're not too bad. Because they're quite, you know, thick stem on them. They'll stand quite well. A lot of them say like, you know, put them out pencil thickness, well they are that. But they just seem a little bit, old. They will sulk a little bit. You know, but they'll kind of stop any top growth, plough some roots in, and then carry on from where they left off. Any real tiny ones, you know, you can either put aside or put them in a small pot and have them as like a little spring onion. I don't know how many I can get in this bed, or if I've got enough spring onions and enough leeks to put in. We shall see. You know, because you could just get them like that, shove them in a pot, you know, and they'll just grow and just keep cutting the tops, and they'll keep growing. You can use like a chive. Alliums are great, like you can use spring onions, anything like that. No signs of rust on them, as far as I can see anyway, but it is that season, so they might come. So I've got spring onions next to me right here that aren't showing rust, but that can change at any time, because I do get rust here. It's usually what signals the end of everything, so I've got to be careful when I bring my garlic back. I'll put it at the very far end of the garden, because that has rust on it. You know, when I bring it back from the allotment, them spores burst. I might consider, once I've got this new fruit cage put up and everything, you know, making somewhere I can dry stuff like that actually out the plot. You just worry sometimes about, you know, people walking around just helping themselves to stuff. It shouldn't happen, but it does. I know the actual site owner has a few times on some people's plot they've needed stuff. They've just got to help themselves. They've usually said afterwards, but still, when you rent your plot off them, you don't really give them the right to go and help yourself to what you've grown. Right, so like an idiot, I didn't bother counting them, so I'll get rid of this compost, then I'll lay them out and see what we've got. Oh, I think what I'll do actually, I'll just actually make the holes and plant them until I run out of holes or run out of leeks, one or the other. Spot a bit of mare's tail up here, nothing here yet, but it'll come. That means watering can out of the way. The spacings, I'd usually give them about 8 inches, but I'm tempted to do a bit closer because they're probably not going to get that big. So cable tie, if it's long enough, kind of like 6 inches up, thereabouts. you're going to dib a hole about 6 inches deep. That's all, that's your marker. Always cut the tag off. You always lose them. I've finding tags of cable ties for years and years. So we'll get that out of the way. Right, so I'll get myself a piece of wood that I can just lay alongside, just to space them off. You don't have to, I just like things, try to be neat and straight as possible. It's just looking for a piece of wood that will do the job, bit of 2-inch stuff. No, my luck, I can't find any. I've got some offcuts of stuff down here when I built the shed. Probably better, a bit of 3x2. But I do have this gutter thing up here. I think they're spaced about 5 inch apart though. I think I'll just eyeball it this year, I think. So that'll be my space. So I'll put, obviously, a row along there, and have another row back here. So they've got like a foot between them. Probably go a little bit more, to be honest. But so I'm just going to come about 6 inches from the side. Give me dibber. Very nice, quite compact my soil because I've spud sat on it for ages. That's first hole. I hate having something to not mark off. So they're about 8 inches I'm going to give them. You can interplant stuff if you want, little radishes, stuff like that for now. Then. They tend to not need, once they've tapped in, they're fine for water because the roots are right down. It can be a bit of a bugger to do, we should dig up. I'm going to try and keep the cats off from ideally you don't want the hole filling in. Not for a while anyway. The idea is the leek will fill that hole. These have no chance of getting to that size. The last one, this thing, a little gap there, but I'm not going to put them on there because it's shaded. How many did I manage to get in a row? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. If I've got 32 leeks, great. If I haven't, I mean, I could put one in the middle there if I wanted to, but that's asking a bit too much that space wise, I think. Definitely firm up here though. Oh, sun's up. Usually I'd dig this over a little bit. They all slid in like that. Oh. Trying not to think about the jobs I've got still to do yet. But I'm not going to pin myself to get them done today. It'll just bog my head down. I'm going to give myself till tea time. Make tea and go to bed. A few hours kip. Well, that's 32 holes dibbed out. That was pretty boring. What's next? I think a swig of the brew. Right. I can just pull these out in one handful and do them. We shall see. Okay, so go up the top here. Leek, drop it in, make sure it goes to the bottom. Don't worry about the roots, as long as that little basil bit's touching the bottom, it'll sort itself out. Obviously, if you get a long dry spell now, you'll have to give them a bit of a watering in. Whatever leeks I've got left, I'll just put in a pot. You know, they'll straighten themselves out, do their own thing and that. So I've never planted them out quite so big, but see how they get on. Might actually try my luck and put another row in between on the diagonal. You know, as they're not going to get so big. You worry a bit about airflow. Well, I don't like empty space because that weeds can grow there. Little baby one there. I've got a big pot that I had carrots in that's come available, so I might just put them in there for like finger leeks. Because I ain't going to put carrots back in it because it's a root fly. Maybe the pong with the onion or the leek will get rid of anything hanging around. I've got 32 in there. Like I say, I could do one on the diagonal, but that's 6 inches apart, so what do you do? Oh, I don't know. Oh, people in multi-sow them. I'll stuff it, I'll put them in. Start causing any problems, I can cut them off. Pop them there in the shade for a minute. Well, I dib a load of no holes. just so it can be quite hungry. So. I don't run out for this row because I'll be a bit annoyed. So, an incomplete row. I hate that. It doesn't matter at all, that, but we'll get them watered in. Curtain me on that. Last one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm going to get a bit dense with the tops here, collapsing about and stuff as leeks do. Ideally you want them all kind of aimed the same way so the tops splay out all the same direction, but I'm not doing that. I think these ones, I chitted these on like some kitchen roll, and then instead of thinning them out in a tub, once it's sprouted I planted them spaced out in that tub. It kind of worked out well, to be honest. It's only a 3 litre pot, that thing. Yeah, no, a 4 litre. About 8 inches or something like that. And they're running out. I've only got 4 tiny ones left. So I'll just get like a little 4-inch pot. I'll just find a little area with nothing in it and just plant them in a little clump like that, and then when they get big enough just keep chopping them. Found another 2 down here in the tub. Oh, right. Well, water them in now. Right, so the idea of this is fill each hole to the top with water, and then that should wash any soil onto the roots. Sometimes they will want to float up, just push them back down, and as the sediment settles it'll grab some of the roots and that'll give it time to put some new roots in. That's the plan. Put your finger over end, take your watering can, take your finger off, fill the hole, stop it. Fill my watering can back up. And that's it. You know, they're all still pretty full of water. You give them another water, you know, tomorrow if need be, but I'll probably not bother. And hopefully that should be it. All I'm going to do is I'm going to put some fishing line around it after, just to stop cats and squirrels from clambering about on there. Just till they've had a chance to get going. Because otherwise they'll scratch these, fill it in, and you end up with a lot of muck in your leeks. And nobody likes dirty leeks. This video, so a bit of a, you know, spud reveal and get them leeks planted. So, you know, spuds not fabulous, but still a decent crop. You know, £36 whatever it was the spuds, you know, and then whatever it was the other ones. You know, for seed potatoes, like £5 and a bit of seed potatoes. But yeah, overall, you know, it's a reasonable harvest. You know, I've still got to put all this compost away yet, but obviously I'm going to plant these other Charlottes, which is just basically the tubs I had the all around. I'm just going to put, you know, one Charlotte seed potato in that, and grow up for Christmas ones, or even, you know, seed potatoes for next year if you've got space. They don't need to get big, you know, for a seed potato. You've got to watch the blight, because we're in the height of blight season now, so they'll tend to grow a bit quicker. Obviously the light hours are getting less now, so you do kind of like really need to get any sort of late season potatoes in all this next week, really. So I think, like, you know, the 10th was the date for pinching the tops off the tomatoes and getting the spuds in. But I'd probably say you're okay till the middle of this month, you know, and then at least you can try and get like 80 to 90 days to get some nice new potatoes before the weather, you know, decides to dampen plans. But if it ends up mild, you squeeze out extra bit of growth. If you've got any empty spaces under cover, put them under the cover. They don't like to get really hot around the pots, potatoes, I find, so if you can pop the actual pots behind like a low-lying wall, that will help keep the actual base cool, because I find, you know, they don't tend to do well when it's really warm on the pot. So that's something I've started to realise over the years. But regarding the first earlies of Duke of Yorks, instead of doing like the 90, 100 day and just leaving until the tops died over, it worked out better. I prefer the bigger potatoes myself, you know, because you do get some small ones dotted in between, you know, so I can, and they always end up at the bottom of the sack, so I can sack up the larger ones, and all the little ones I can deal with that way. So that's it for this video. So take care, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.